Welcome back to the OKC Foodcast, your guide to the food in Oklahoma. And we're back with another episode. Not that I have to say that anymore, because we're just back.
I was going to say, we're established now.
We're here.
And those were my two wonderful co-hosts,
Josh.
And Christina.
And we are joined with some extremely special guests that we will get to in a second. Chef Ashby and Chef David from the Omni and the plethora of restaurants that are there. And I can't wait to talk about all that food. And we had an incredible tasting at the Omni as well.
So good.
Call us for tastings. We like food.
We have fun.
And fire sauce.
And fire sauce. But before we get into all of that, let's talk about the favorite thing we ate this week. Who wants to go first?
I've got this one because I've known this one for a while. Because over the weekend, my wife bought some New York strip steaks, and this is a well-known fact now. If you've listened to the last couple podcasts, that I love my Blackstone grill. I love my Blackstone griddle top, and I use it for literally everything. Found out a lot of things that I didn't know you could cook on a griddle. That you can. So, but we threw those steaks. I threw the steaks on the Blackstone. Did a peppercorn crust all over it, and then actually paying homage to the tasting that we had at Omni. Chef David inspired me with the chimichurri sauce that we had that we had at Omni at the Tap House, and I did a homemade chimichurri. I threw some poblanos in there, roasted some poblanos, got a little bit of heat going, that drizzled over the steak. And then underneath the steak, I did a sweet potato puree. And I was not sure about that one before I actually did it, but it worked and really balanced out. You had the creaminess of the puree, you had the spiciness and the savoriness of the steak, and then you had a little bit of tang and spice with the chimichurri on top. So it was fantastic. Also threw some like mushrooms and onions and the rest of the poblanos on the griddle as well, and did that as a little bit of a side. So we ate well this weekend. That was definitely my favorite.
Those pictures looked incredible. Those were well done.
Tasted better than the pictures.
If you want to go see that picture, go onto our Instagram.
That's right.
OKC Foodcast.
Yeah. Good job, Josh. That looked really good.
Yeah.
So I have, because of the first thing that I thought was kind of too simple for me, but I'll just say it anyways. So when I first moved here to Oklahoma, I made quite a few friends that worked at farms, which is so random. One of them, her name is Roxanne. She used to work at this local farm close to the Remington. Anyway, so I bought these peppers called shishito peppers. I just had never heard of them before. Yes. And so this year I decided to buy some shishito pepper plants and see if I could just grow them in my backyard. And now they're giving so many shishito peppers, and I've just been putting them on the cast iron in the evenings, and have been the best appetizer for me after work. Like before I work out, I'm like, I'm just going to throw some shishito peppers and then put some salt and pepper after, and that's it. That's all I want. I've actually, no, I didn't know. I don't know. Does it taste good with lime?
Tastes fantastic.
Yeah. I need to learn a little bit more, discover about how you can kind of glam up your shishito peppers. Also went to the Bradford House. Again, that place has been like one of my favorites, I think, this past month. I took my dad to their Father's Day dinner that they had on Sunday, which is one thing that I find myself really attracted to whenever I see restaurants or chefs promote like special evenings, like we have a 3-course evening or a 5-course lunch or something like that. I really want to go because I know it's going to be special, it's going to be different. And so I took my dad there, and they had live music, and they had like 4 different or 5 different things you can pick from. And I know I ordered it was like a vegetarian kebab over a tabbouleh salad. It was so good. And they had, of course, a steak. So my dad had their steak. So yeah, those were my 2 fave eats of the week.
She's an overachiever with 2.
I thought we were limited. It said more.
Sorry.
Went overboard.
Just a little bit.
I guess my favorite thing I ate this week is something I actually made. Was a 48-hour sous vide pork belly at home.
Ooh.
And then had it over some lotus, grilled lotus root, and then some veggies. So it's pretty good.
Fantastic.
Nice.
Kept it simple.
Kept it simple with a 48-hour sous vide, no big deal.
Toss it in the bag, right? Gosh, well, I've got a real conundrum because I went home for Father's Day, so my mother did some cooking one night, and then the second night, my girlfriend did some cooking, and we'll just say equally both meals were fantastic.
It depends on who's listening to the podcast.
That is absolutely right. Well, for starters, my mom made this huge salad just full of like dried fruits and toasted nuts, and she put some chickpeas in it and really nice vinaigrette, and it was great. They separately grilled some fish and some steaks and stuff like that, but I just stuck with the salad as someone who prefers to eat vegetarian or vegan diet. And then the following night, girlfriend did some eggplant, and she put some homemade pesto from some basil she grew, and
Nice.
rubbed it all, and then baked it in the oven. And so they were like, as she would say, matchsticks, but they were just thick cut pieces of eggplant, and they came out just phenomenal, and that went with a nice salad. So really had two phenomenal meals over the last week. And
Awesome.
I feel like you have to be very careful about your terminologies when you're talking to a chef. Be like, these are julienne. No, these are not.
those are batine. Oh no, yes, dear, they're beautiful matchsticks.
And my favorite thing that we ate, I'm gonna cheat a little bit because this was a week ago, right about a week ago, was at the tasting. And I'm gonna cheat two now since everyone's doing two. I'm gonna do two as well.
Sorry, broke the rules, but
The first one was that roasted cauliflower. It was so good. It had labneh, honey, roasted cauliflower, chimichurri. That was probably the most flavorful chimichurri that I've ever had, and the candied Fresnos.
And the pomegranate seeds.
And the
Oh,
pomegranate
yeah.
seeds.
Yeah.
It just keeps going. And everything just like grilled lemon.
that's right.
I don't remember that. Maybe I didn't get that. Or I probably didn't like pay attention to it because there was so much other stuff there. But I can see how lemon would be awesome in there too. Yeah, damn it, now I missed it. I'm gonna have to come back. But two things out of that chimichurri, amazing. And those candied Fresnos, I was just like in love with them. Which, thank you to Chef David for giving me a container of the
take
candied
home.
Fresnos. We're like talking about this.
They were for. They came back there for.
Yeah, those were for us.
I'm just wondering for your listeners, did you use them as facial moisturizer?
Oh yeah.
Nice. Occasionally we have the cooks bathe in them.
What did I put it on? I think I used them that night. I made a stir fry, and I kind of made it a little spicier, and so then I added the candied Fresnos on top, like just chopped up before eating, so I didn't cook it with it. And it was like the perfect balance because the Fresnos themselves had they're a pepper, so they have a little bit of that heat, not a lot of heat, and that candied, so that sweet and spicy balance was incredible. So put them to good use, I think.
Sounds like it.
So, yeah, now I'm super excited to talk about all this food. But first, kind of want to give the listeners out there a little bit of the background of who you are, how you ended up in Oklahoma, and like just your story. So, Chef David or Chef Ashby, whoever wants to start off.
Let's start with Chef Ashby. Welcome to Oklahoma, first of all.
Oh, thank you. So originally from San Antonio, Texas. Most recently was living in a small town of Evansville, Indiana, where I recently connected with an old chef buddy of mine and told me he had a new job at the Omni Hotel and asked me if I was willing to come help him out, and I was like, sounds great. Get me out of Indiana. So came back further south, which is a lot warmer, and I am very happy in my decision. Oklahoma's been very friendly since being here, so I've enjoyed it. As far as cooking goes, I've been cooking since I was 18, which we won't talk about how old I am. But grandmother got me into cooking, and has just been doing it ever since. So it's been a family thing. So yeah.
Awesome. And you met Chef David in San Antonio,
yeah,
correct?
so I met Chef David 12 years ago in San Antonio while we were both working at the Omni Hotel. He was actually my chef, and I was still a cook back then. So come a long way thanks to his help. So yeah, it's been great.
Awesome.
Nice. Chef David?
All right. Not really sure where to begin this.
Should I go get a snack or something?
Yeah. So really how I ended up, I guess we'll kind of fast forward to how I'm here, right? I was very fortunate to have a friend of mine reach out to me who's with the Omni brand, and he was a chef for 20 years and has transitioned into food and beverage director, and reached out to me as I was on the beach in Naples, Florida, doing some consulting. And,
Nice.
Life was really good. And he asked if I had interest in this opportunity. And, first was rather reluctant to jump on board with a world of enthusiasm. And then just as time got going, I started talking to people with Omni and Omni Corporate, and realized, what a great environment they have and what they're all about. And so I continued to pursue it, and sort of one thing led to another, and I blinked my eyes and I was here in Oklahoma City, and very glad I made that jump and have enjoyed my time here. It's been a very short period of time, but have certainly enjoyed my time, and love that there's pretty much everything here, as far as a restaurant scene and diversity, and people are so kind, and there's a whole lot less traffic than Dallas.
Yeah.
So we're very,
sure.
very, very grateful for all those things. And as Dallas was a home base. So a little bit, kind of a bit about my background. I started cooking when I could see over the stove, and then it just kind of took on a life of its own. I have lived in Europe and the Caribbean and Asia multiple times, East Coast, West Coast, kind of a bit in between, and have just sort of used cooking and the ability to use this as a vehicle to travel, where a lot of professions kind of are more geographic based. Mm-hmm. This is global, and so just really took full advantage of that opportunity to see a lot of the world and explore a lot of the world, and not just pop in for a week and visit, but really be able to immerse myself culturally and have a better understanding of the food. Really, where does it come from, and what are all those things, and meeting people and connecting through people, and being able to tell those stories. And that certainly shaped my career and open-mindedness of different things and food and stuff like that. So I say I've never had a real addiction in life except traveling, and
that's a healthy addiction.
Yes,
it's been a bit of a vice. So the journey just continues, and try to plan as many trips as possible, and just absolutely submerge myself in foreign territory.
That's so awesome.
Yeah, and you can totally see like your travels and what you've brought back from them, even I'm sure in everything else that you've done in your career, but specifically talking about the Omni and the Tap House where we were last week, the marriage of different cultures and the different flavors, like the chimichurri with labne. I mean, that's Mediterranean and
South American.
South American, right? So like not particularly close to each other. But it blended so well together.
Thank you. A big reason I wanted to invite Ashby to join us is obviously we go way back from what he was mentioning, and he came and he's the head chef at the Tap House. And so wanted him to also be able to speak on some of the things of kind of what's in the pipeline for his restaurant and what's happening. And, now we kind of have different roles, different relationships than we did 10 years ago, where I get to be a support in a different way. And he's come a long way. And so it's really nice and rewarding for myself to be able to see the growth, but also to turn around and let him, run his own show. So I'll let him talk a little bit about what's up and coming in Tap House.
Yeah.
So what's up and coming at Tap House?
Let's see. Some things we're adding onto the menu that are coming are we're going to be putting some mac and cheese on our menu. The 48-hour pork belly is actually why I was playing around with it at home. So we're going to be putting that on the top of the mac and cheese with the Fresno chilies. And some crushed up chicharrones over the top, so you get a nice crunch along with all that cheesy goodness.
Those Fresnos with the mac and cheese would be really good.
Those
Fresnos with anything.
I was gonna say Nabil would
he
put
just really likes those Fresnos.
I was gonna say Nabil could put Fresnos on cereal. I mean,
well,
I know what to get you for Christmas.
Fresnos.
Something that's pretty exciting that we're going to do is we're going to probably partner up with a local bison farm around here, and we're going to start serving a bison tomahawk out of Tap House.
my
fantastic!
As like a showpiece. So if you got like about 4 or 5 friends you want to come show off in front of, come on down.
That's an experience right there.
We're going to set that up to be an experience showpiece where a bunch of sides come out, and so it'll be a whole menu tasting that you talked about, special event type thing. So it'll be one of those type of deals. So yeah, and then we got chili cheese fries and double will be opening up. So we got a walk-up burger bar right off the side of the hotel with Scissortail Park that will be opening up here within the next month.
So you'll have a variety of different types of burgers.
You'll have burgers
right
and
there.
milkshakes. So yeah, you can have
nice.
your chocolate or vanilla milk. You can have your chocolate or vanilla milkshake, or you can have it as a swirl and mix the two. And then we'll have different types of burgers, sandwiches, all handheld things in out of there. So yeah.
I mean, it's a busy area. I think you guys are going to have so much traffic down there.
Yeah, it's really populated. You got a lot of foot traffic, so it'll be a lot of fun. And then hopefully the Chesapeake opens up and gets some more events, and so then we'll really get going. So,
Can't wait for that.
Going into the tasting at the Tap House, to be honest, what I was expecting was just bar food. Grab a burger, grab a slice of pizza, what chili cheese fries or whatever, catty corner to Chesapeake Energy Arena, grab something before the game, that kind of atmosphere. And
because we hadn't looked at the menu before we walked in.
No,
we were just like, we're just gonna be surprised.
But one of the things I so appreciated that I can see both of your expertise coming through, your world travels and everything, is everything on the menu. It has a distinct Oklahoma flavor to it, but there are like the chimichurri and the labna. I mean, that it has so many different cultural aspects that is being brought into the food. So I mean, it was absolutely stunning.
And whenever we were at the Omni, I remember you talked a lot about wanting to give your audience an experience. Making them feel like how you felt whenever you were in your travels, having and eating that street food and kind of bringing that back to wherever you go, whatever kitchen you start cooking at. And that's how I felt. I mean, it was very nostalgic to see that chimichurri on there. I'm like, oh, this is so awesome. It's not a lot of places where, you get served chimichurri. I just make it at home, and I don't even make it that well. I'm just trying to do what I can, But that was a very, very nice and amazing touch.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I mean, that's something that, we've focused on quite a bit, both way back when we were in San Antonio together, whether the food was really high-end type fine dining, tasting menu, or it's on a more casual format like Tap House, really believe like food needs to tell a story. And if somebody's had that bite somewhere, wherever it may be in the world, that it enables them to transport themselves back to that bite and bring that memory forward instead of just giving food on a plate. Because there's not enough depth to that for me, as a culinarian, but also I feel for the diner that they're going to walk out and be like, I haven't had that since I was, in Turkey or in Greece or in Thailand or wherever that place may be. And so trying to perfect those little nuances really, for me, makes a world of difference to a diner.
I mean, and that comes through because I've been talking about this. I've probably mentioned that meal that we had there, or I should call it a feast, really, because there was so much stuff, so much incredible stuff. Almost every day, I've mentioned something else about it, and everything, like, it was probably one of the most exciting meals that I've had in a while.
Oh, thank you.
With like the different flavor combinations and the candied Fresnos. I had to throw that in there.
But yeah, Nabil, you're so right. Like, I felt like as the days went by, I remembered like little things. I'm like,
right.
Oh my gosh, that plate had this,
Right.
or like
Different aspects of everything. Yeah,
and like
it's just exciting.
The fries with the brisket and the candied Fresnos. It was just like everything was, man.
So one thing we didn't want to spoil too much, but since it's since we're here on your podcast, we're gonna kind of just divulge a little something about Double Double.
All right,
we're gonna serve fries, and we've developed something calling pit powder, and it's from smoking of all the brisket and different things, and then taking that flavor, and we've made a way to make it like powder. And then we're gonna put it on top of the fries at Double Double.
Oh,
wow!
And we got a little preview of that on the fries. I mistook it as cheese initially.
Yeah. I know, me too. I was like, "What?
What is Parmesan doing on top of it?"
And Chef was like, "No, that's not cheese." It was like all that smokiness in there. Oh, that was so good. See, this is those little things about it.
Talk a little bit about the approach to ingredients. And the one thing I'm reminded of is the charred octo. Know, how you said you bring that in from Spain. Is that correct? Yeah. I mean, it's got to be a challenge. We're landlocked. You're not getting octopus from Lake Thunderbird.
We got striped bass.
We got some man-made lakes. Yeah.
I mean, but the focus on ingredients, the challenges there. Can you kind of talk a little bit about that?
Sure. I'll start, and then I'll pass the mic to Ashby. But for the octopus dish in particular, I'm a huge fan of octopus. I love seafood in general, but octopus especially. And so the dish kind of came together a bit with, I had on and off been trying to plan a trip to go to Morocco and take the ferry from northern Morocco into southern Spain. And so that dish is actually a split between Morocco and Spain with the harissa hummus and then the Spanish octopus and the Spanish olive oil. And we were very specific to get Spanish olive oil and certain little nuances. But to speak more in depth about the ingredients, it's pretty much bar none. Spain has the best octopus. And so we've got a producer through one of our boutique distributors that deals directly, and they go out, they pull the octopus, and they are tumbled on the boat and then packaged immediately. And so by the time they get back to the dock, they unload and boom, they're FedExed out all over the world. It's not a huge producer, but they produce enough to thankfully be able to supply us here. And so the quality is exceptional. And so a lot of times you get octopus and you cook it and it gets either really tough or mealy in texture. And so this stuff is tumbled with salt water, like actual, not salt, sorry, seawater. And then packaged right on the boat. So it's a neat product. And so we really try to go out of our way, just like Ashby was mentioning with the bison. It's a local bison company, and we're very excited. We're going to be using them for one of the dishes in Seltzer's, the modern diner that's going to open within the hotel. And then he's going to use a tomahawk and some other things to do some really fun, over-the-top presentations. Platter, like large format stuff, and just to be different and have fun. And it's nice to get behind those producers. But any time I've moved anywhere, which has been a few times in my life, it takes time to build those relationships, and it's not just about, okay, well, you have bison. It's really more in depth for me, is about vetting the vendor and vetting the farmer and really understanding what they do and what they're all about and what they stand for, and does it align with what we're looking for.
Yeah, that makes sense. So, Chef, when you've traveled around the world, have you been able to maintain relationships with some people that you like, farmers or like anywhere, and just kind of still connect with them wherever you work? Like, for example, here, like, did you know these suppliers in Spain somehow, and just to kind of give them business and give them, some spotlight per se? Yeah.
Sure. This particular, speaking of the octopus, I have not actually met the producer, but the distributor that is our boutique distributor, and they're actually out of Schertz, Texas, just north of San Antonio. And so I've known them since being in San Antonio. And so we still continue to collaborate and work together for these unique products. And so it's kind of a neat thing. There's also a pork producer called South Texas Heritage Pork, and they have raised specific pigs for me on. We had one raised on avocado and did a special dinner. We've had it peanut finished. We've done all kinds of things in collaborations with them over the years, and they're wonderful people. And it's a husband and wife team that have got together and have really started to, make a name for themselves. And it's taken some time because they've had to grind their teeth and really get down and dirty with it. But it's incredible when you go out to a farm like that and you see the animals act like your domesticated golden retriever, which I have at home, and they run up and they'll want to be pet and everything else, because the way they treat the animals and the way they're fed and the whole bit, but if you go to a commercial feedlot, it's a completely different experience, and that's something that just doesn't align with my personal values. So we really try to go the extra mile to find the right people and support people who are, and I'd say doing the right thing by the animals, and so we hold a lot of value to that.
That is so important. And I always wonder, whenever you go eat some places, it's like, I wonder how ethically sourced, these, the meat, the poultry, the seafood is. I don't know. That's something that I feel like a lot of people, the diners, like, how do you look into that? How do you find out if these places are vetting their sources?
I think that's definitely a big trend. Not saying like it's trendy to do that, but like it's where everyone's focusing is like ethically sourced, sustainably sourced, treated humanely, all that stuff. Like, and that shows in the quality of the food that comes out as well, right?
For sure.
You're not just doing it to be good or because it's the right thing to do, but I mean, it has an impact on the food as well because it just tastes better.
I was talking with a friend of mine just the other day, and we concluded she's actually has chickens in her yard, and she lives in Houston, and we came to this conclusion. The question is, people ask, well, why are organics or why are responsibly raised food so expensive? And really the better question is, why is commercial food so cheap?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
That's what we should be asking.
Which maybe a whole other podcast. But it's certainly something to think about, and where we've come in the last 10 years, especially with the focus on food waste changing in our own country, probably for the first time in 35, 40 years, from the TV dinner generation to, which I might be just at the kind of maybe at the bottom of that. But no, how that's changed and how we've evolved, and how we're cooking at home, and all the things that have happened, especially after COVID. I guess depending on where you are in the country, COVID is still more active or not.
Yeah.
Well, the crazy thing is it's not rocket science when you talk about the quality of food and how that food is sourced. I mean, I grew up on a farm, and I can tell you from personal experience that it's the quality of the food that you get, there's zero comparison between the things that we raised and the commercial feedlot. And it's really cool to see kind of that cultural shift a little bit to say, hey, you know, the hobby farmers, they've had it right the whole time. Like, let's go out and find those ingredients. Let's find those sources, so that not only are you providing a good product, but you're also helping out the local economy.
Yeah, for
well.
sure.
I was gonna say, that's my biggest part, is just helping out the local people around you.
Yeah.
And then also, like you were saying, how do you know? It's, if you use local, most people will recognize those names and you put them on your menu to kind of help promote them too. So that's one way that I think chefs should help out and put those farms on their menu. So
Yeah, it's like a win-win.
It
Win,
is,
win,
yeah.
win, win, win.
Win on all aspects.
It's funny when we had that pig raised by South Texas Heritage Pork. This was actually when Ashby and I worked together a few years back, and we didn't even know, and we didn't do it for PR purposes. We didn't do it for anything like that. And we had partnered with the produce company, and all their avocados. Imagine like a produce company in San Antonio goes through an awful lot of avocado, and so once the ones that were starting to get to the point where they couldn't sell them and they needed to write them off, that we digested the cost at their cost, and then they were dropped off for the pig specifically to eat, and so anyway, it was kind of this like win-win all the way around. And then we did the dinner. The dinner ended up in American Way magazine, in USA Today, all these things there was none of that was planned, and it just happened through people taking pictures there, and there happened to be someone who was a guest, and we sold out the dinner in 15 minutes with online tickets. And I mean, it was just us going through this like experimental process of from a 2 sentences I read in a book called American Terroir about pigs that in Michoacan, that there's somebody who was down there, the guy who wrote the book was down there, and he was commenting on how great the pork was, because the pigs were eating the avocados that got overripe and fell on the ground. And so it's just like, wait a minute.
That's crazy how
we
life
can figure
is.
this out here and do this collaboration. And I mean, it was really something very special.
That's kind of cool.
So whenever you reached out to this couple, these farmers, I mean, were they like shocked, like, whoa, like, let's give this a try, or had they heard of like, okay, well, I mean, how did they react to your proposal of feeding the pigs avocados?
It's a great question. No, they said, well, why don't you come out to the farm? And I had met them at the farmer's market, and just, maybe 2 or 3 times, but hadn't really got to know them. And I said, well, why don't you come out to the farm? So then I asked anyone who wanted to come from the kitchen. You were there, right?
I mean, I've been friends with them ever since.
Yeah.
So I'm still talk to them pretty often. So yeah.
So I mean, we went out to the farm, and that was one of their things. Like, come check out and see what we're doing. You've tasted the product, but see what we're doing. And it was certainly eye-opening for me. And then we got to be friendly, and maybe we had a few beers one night, and started getting into it. And I'm like, well, I have this thought, and this is the book, and and Mark, who the main man, he was just so excited and wanted to partner to keep pushing what they were doing forward, and so we did, and it was just this like crazy journey we went on to do this. And it took a few months of feeding the pig and going through the whole motion, and the owner of the property would ask me, she would come in town, Chef, how's the pig doing? I can't wait. So everyone just got, it was like this running joke.
Yeah.
That like, who dreams this stuff up? And, actually when we got down to it, when we rendered the fat out of we did all these different applications. I can actually show you guys some pictures. But anyway, when we did all this stuff, there was like the slightest green hue to the fat.
Oh wow.
Wow, that's
Interesting.
It was really
Wow.
interesting.
3 months?
wild.
3 months on
3 months.
avocados?
3 months on avocados.
It's the
The
happiest
moral of that
pig.
story is go to your farmer's market. Support your farmer's market because you never
Right.
know. You never know what can happen.
never-
Ask them what they're feeding their pigs.
What are
And we
you
also-
feeding
that's-
your pigs?
That's how I met the bison folks. I mean, just by going through Scissortail Park, walking through on the farmers market and saying, "Hey, would y'all have any interest in
Wow.
talking?" And one thing led to another, and Austin and Jesse and they just jumped on it, and we've been working out, and here we go.
A little plug for the farmers market. If you're listening to this and you haven't been to the farmers market, you should definitely go. There are, I mean, one, it's a delicious experience because like Rome Coffee is always there, and they're a fantastic local cold brew coffee place. Shout out to Rome. They're great people. Good like bakery bread. Big Buns got their start at the farmers market, and now they've got multiple locations. There's a guy who makes this Asian fish hot sauce.
Ooh.
So you have fish sauce, but now it's a hot sauce that's a fish sauce. So if you want something spicy, that's what you throw in there, and it is really, really
I
good.
need some of that. I didn't even know that existed.
Yeah. And then obviously you meet tons of different people that are at the farmers market. It's a fantastic spot.
And I gotta just throw this out there. One thing I fell in love with this farmers market the very first time I walked through was there's beer tents everywhere. That does not go on in Dallas.
Really?
That really surprises me actually.
Yeah. Thought that'd be a staple, right? Well, how else do you bring people out to the farmers market?
Yeah.
I'm loving Oklahoma more and more.
People have to have their beer, I guess, every corner.
So
That's
can you
awesome.
kind of talk through like what's the reception been like from Oklahoma? Either of you, just Omni hasn't been open that long. It's always interesting to watch like a large entity like Omni come in and how it affects like local economy and like relationships with the community. How has that reception been for you all from the food side?
At least from my aspect, everybody's been really friendly. I mean, I've even met a couple of local chefs that have still just came and introduced themselves to know who was working around there. As far as the community goes, I mean, Fridays and Saturdays are standing room only. So, I mean, everybody's coming out, watching sports. So, as far as I can see, Oklahoma's accepting it pretty well. So,
Awesome.
That's something we didn't talk about at the Tap House. It's built out really cool.
Yeah.
And there's TVs everywhere, so
2-story sports bar. So,
Yeah.
I mean, if there's a game on, we have it on at least some TV somewhere.
One of those
mini
50
TVs is
TVs.
showing it. So,
yeah. And they've got this VIP room where we didn't get a chance to really peek into there, but it seemed like it was very comfortable.
So we actually have 2 VIP rooms.
Oh, hey.
There's one upstairs, one downstairs. Both also have their own personal TV. So if you do want to rent it out for something, you can. They actually have a pool table in them.
Oh, that's
wow.
Turns into a ping pong table also.
Okay.
Awesome.
So there's couches in there, tables. Yeah, you can rent it out, get it catered. So yeah, we catered all of that events for you.
Nice.
Yeah, you guys have a really cool patio
Yeah,
space
which is also
out there
upstairs
too.
and downstairs. So there's
There's an
patio.
upstairs
Yep.
too.
I guess I
Wow.
didn't see the upstairs.
Yeah, you guys got to come back. See, you got to come back.
Oh,
tour
we'll
the
be back.
upstairs.
Trust me, we'll be back.
Elevators in there. You can take the elevator. Don't have to take the stairs. So yeah.
What?
And the outside upstairs doors are actually on hydraulics. So when they open them up, it's like a garage door. All you got to do is hit a button, and they just pop right up. So it's pretty cool.
That's awesome. So you guys have also some restaurants upstairs as well, right? Where the pool section is. And I know, Chef David, you're kind of in charge of the concept up there as well, right?
Yes. So up there is a restaurant called Catbird. And so Catbird is on the 3rd floor. It's it's where the pool's located, and there's a beautiful bar that you can walk around in all the windows. And
Can I say one thing about Catbird? If you have not been to Miami and you want to experience Miami and Oklahoma City, go to Catbird.
Really?
Yeah. all the windows open up for like an entire 365 view of downtown, and like open air, so you'll get the wind. All of those windows open up, so it's like you're in Miami. It literally feels like Miami up there.
That's cool.
Nice.
All right. Yeah.
So who was inspired by this? Did you spend some time in? No, you.
I just have that Miami feel from it. I mean, I've been to Miami a few times, so I just got that feel, but had no idea in the designing of it. That had nothing to do with it.
Well,
so say.
Awesome.
Hopefully they hit hopefully they were going for Miami.
I think it's like it's this Miami Vegas hybrid, because when we go out to the pool deck, it's got fire pit and the pool's heated year round, and then they have cabanas and like what they call an event lawn, but it's a lawn out on the side, and everything looks over Scissortail Park. I mean, if I wasn't working there, I would be there every weekend.
On your breaks, I think that you just go up there.
I'll have my meal up there.
So yeah, know a little bit about the food concept and the bar concept up there. It's definitely definitely strongly geared towards warm weather and springy summer. They have a whole beverage program they rolled out this year with a lot of I think they're calling it spritz. So things that have effervescence in them. Doing some cool infusions with lavender and strawberries and watermelons and stuff like that. So it's a really, really neat bar program they've got going on up there. And then and as far as the kitchen goes, we do have a few of the core menu items that you'd find at a pool bar that are family friendly, but then most of them are elevated to, of course, we have which is my personal favorite, the Maine lobster roll. Both my parents are from Boston, so I grew up going and eating lobster rolls.
I cannot believe we didn't talk about the lobster roll.
I know. I knew it was going to come up in conversation. I knew it was going to come up.
So good.
I am so ashamed. Yeah. That was such a highlight also. Oh my gosh, that was so good. Like the
So you know what I mean? Like, keep thinking about this meal and it just keeps going.
So we have the lobster roll, and that's kind of a little bit of a homage to my parents, and just something that I think everybody'd like to eat, and we sell a ton of them up there, and so it's really exciting that we're seeing is such a positive response. We've also got stuff like flatbread, homemade flatbread with a bunch of different dips, and we rotate the dips out, and so that goes out. We have little spring rolls that are not just like, here's a bunch of fried spring rolls. They got the lettuce wrap, like when you go to a Vietnamese restaurant. It's got nok cham with it, and so we make it fun. Thai basil, and we really pickled daikon and carrot, and we're doing fun pool food, and
that's awesome.
Just giving people something different, and
I think that Oklahomans or people from Oklahoma City, at least, or that's just my perception, is that people have a really special place for Vietnamese food here. I think because of our Asian district, there's such a strong Vietnamese presence there, and so I can't wait to go up there and try these fresh spring rolls. That's awesome.
We'd love to have you up.
How many spots in Omni are there to eat? I'm just listening to this conversation going, oh my word.
So there's five food and beverage outlets, and then we have a huge banquet facility and the lobby bar.
So if you leave Omni hungry, you're an idiot, basically.
I would say
you failed.
You definitely have done yourself a disservice. And it's like in each one, as we're growing, and the hotel is opening more and more outlets and doing different things. Each area is a specific concept, right? So it's not just, you're not getting like what I think a lot of people deem as like hotel food anymore. Mm-hmm. It's elevated stuff. Like if you go to the Basin Bar, which is the hotel lobby bar, and they have the bourbon whiskey list, of all the specialty, hard to procure bottles, and then they have like cocktail and wine program. But as far as the food goes, food that pairs with that, and that type of person having a really nice glass of wine or a great bourbon, we're bringing in imported cheeses, and not just generic imported cheeses. Like we're really bringing in legit expensive cheeses, and we're going to roll out a caviar program in the fall, and we have all these different things. We've we have not taken it out yet, but we do have a true Iberico ham on, just waiting to be put on the top of the bar and to be served.
Oh man,
Christina is.
Well,
I have to stare at this thing every day and think that's hard.
well, my friend, reason why I went to Bolivia in April was because my friend was getting married and she had rescheduled her wedding like 3 times already at that point, and she married this guy from the Basque Country there in Spain. And
Nice.
And I took my fiance there. He loves meat, but Xavi is his name. So he was like, guys, you should try this. I made it at home. I'm like, what? You made this ham? He's like, yeah, we procured it, blah, 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 blah. Oh my gosh. And of course, it's like a family tradition. They just do that. It's just so normal for them from where he's from. And so, yeah, that's awesome. That's amazing. I'm sure from your travels too, that you've come up with that.
Yeah. So it's going to be, we're going to have it out on the bar. We just haven't figured out when we're going to stick it out there, but it's coming, and we're going to just do a few fun, continue like unique and fun things for Oklahoma City. And we're so far as we said, putting everything out at one time and it'd be overwhelming, just growing into it. And we found that's really been the best recipe for Omni right now, from a food program standpoint.
Sounds like they give you guys a lot of creative freedom there, no, to try and test out different things. And like you were saying, like hotels putting that emphasis on high-end, meals and foods, trying out different spaces and ambiance, like just sounds like the Omni is really giving you guys that freedom to experiment.
We do. We get quite a bit of leeway, and that's nice. I mean, just from nobody knows your clientele better than you do. When you're in your back door, and it's different than some of the other brands out there that say, hey, here's your menu for your breakfast or your lunch or whatever, and this is what you serve, because they firmly believe, and I've had this conversation at length with the corporate food and beverage director, that they truly believe that, like, even if something costs more, there's more intangible value to the customer, that you're delivering the right thing and doing the right thing in your market than something just being dictated. And so they really want to promote their food and beverage programs in each of their properties, and all the properties are different. So it makes it kind of nice. They're not it's not a cookie cutter brand. Mm-hmm. And so they're like, well, this is your market. You guys, you live it, you breathe it. So do what makes sense.
Yeah, because everything won't work everywhere.
Yeah.
Right. So it's just smart not to do that either.
Right. Well, as someone who's eaten a lot of hotel food, Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. And I will say, and I really do feel, I don't know if it's just the Oklahoma hospitality or what, but we've had chefs come, we've had people from kind of all over. I mean, I've dealing with a lot of the banquet tastings for the charity events. We have boards that come in, and I hear these stories. Well, I remember when this was like a thing like 7 years ago, and this, and I hear all these like backstories, and they're all like, we're so thankful y'all are here. We're so thankful, so thankful. And it's nice, and it's refreshing that the community is welcoming it is a big machine that just kind of plopped into Oklahoma City. And so that can either be intimidating or embracing, right? Depending on which way you want to look at it. But so far we've had nothing but like kindness and hey, let us know how we can help you, or if you're looking for some places to eat, here's my number, reach out. And so we just keep hearing that over and over. And so that says quite a bit.
Nice. And so talking about the fact that it is such a big entity and a big machine, and going back to what Josh said a few minutes ago, maybe it's more than a few minutes now. I always lose track of time while we're recording because the conversation is just so good. You're bringing in, like, you have that vendor from Spain, bringing in octopus, and you've got the Spanish olive oil, and you've got, these really specialty ingredients that you're bringing into Oklahoma that might not have had a chance to be in Oklahoma before. And we kind of talked about this while we were eating at the Omni. So kind of going back to that, like, how do you think that supply chain, now that there's access, will impact the Oklahoma landscape in general.
We're certainly hoping that by bringing in some of these products, it opens other doors for other restaurateurs or business owners. Usually more than half the battle is getting a commitment from your suppliers to go into a particular market or maintain a certain par level, because they're nervous. Gosh, I'm just going to use octopus as an example. Well, who else is going to buy this?
Mm-hmm.
And they just kind of look at me, and I'm like, I promise you, you've got to go out and sample. You've got to go out and connect with other people. But this is a superior product, and I think being able to do that, and this is what happened when we were in San Antonio. It was this very similar situation. We were able to use the leverage of the business and of the volume to get other distributors to carry these products, and then it becomes readily available. And then if two other places start to pick it up, well, now they've got 3 places using it, and so it just starts to open more and more doors. And then there's this trust built, and there's this relationship that becomes, really becomes forward thinking of, okay, and you get to drive the train. Well, what else? Mm-hmm. What else are you thinking of? What else? Like, we're about to bring in a product that's going to be very new to the market, and it's a gluten-free flour blend, and it is designed to hold food crispy for up to 4 hours, and completely gluten-free. And which, if you've ever, anyone who has celiac or anyone who's on a gluten-free diet, for example, they won't touch fried chicken, they won't touch chicken fried steak, they won't touch. I mean, even if it's just like tempura vegetables, they're not going to touch it because of the gluten. Well, this product is just coming to market, and we should have it in about 2 weeks or so, and so now all of a sudden it'll start to become available to others that are in this market that may want to tap into that. And so it's the little things that just one block at a time, and we build and we build and we build. So the more word that gets out, the better for everybody.
Yeah, it's like everybody's, like you said, like other restaurateurs, other small businesses, their products all of a sudden will have a different degree of quality because of all of these new products coming in.
And creativity.
Yeah.
Because of the amount of, over the last couple of years, we have so many requests, right, for gluten-free and so on and so forth. I mean, we are going to turn over all the food in all the food that would go into a fryer that would be breaded will be completely turned over into this product. So everything will become gluten-free in the building.
Oh, wow.
And this is probably a silly question, but since I started, I'm going to ask it anyway. Is the flavor comparable in the taste? I know the answer. I don't even know why I asked this.
To be honest with you, actually, Ashby's tried it. We had some samples brought up, but the texture is incredibly crispy. And when we typically bite into, and I'm just using this as a fried food, right? Like, if you bite into fried food, what we all love is the crunch and that texture change, right? And so, anyway, this particular product is designed to hold that crunch for a long period of time, so it doesn't. You feel it, and it's just so much better for you in general.
That's awesome. So, how have you guys used this product? Have you tried it with tempura or on fried chicken?
I've actually been playing with it for probably like 3 or 4 months prior to its arrival. So it's kind of a neat thing. We've done fried chicken with it. We've done chicken fried steak. We've vegetables. We've tried it in all kinds of different applications, and really just find the neat thing about it is. This may be getting way off course here, but anyhow, okay. You can always edit. You can always edit this out. But
if it's about food, it's on course.
It's really neat. Like, so you can actually bread something in it, and you then put it in the fridge. So like, let's just take a chicken, boneless chicken breast. You dredge it in this flour blend, and you put it in the refrigerator for an hour or two, and then you can take it out and fry it, and it actually, the texture comes out better. And this is just something I kind of fell upon. Than just doing the breading like you normally would, and then like drop something in the fryer. So you can do the prep ahead of time, and then so even for home cooking, it's fantastic.
Yeah, that was my next question. I'm like, I can't wait to purchase this for home cooking. I want to see if I can make something like some fried chicken, because my fiance loves fried chicken, and see if he can tell or not.
I was going down.
I
was going down the road of like, this is gonna make leftovers like so much better. Like the chicken is still gonna be crispy.
You'll have to go to chef and be like, I really like those candied Fresnos.
Can you gluten-free fry me some candied Fresno?
I got you.
Thanks. I feel like those would be fantastic.
Deep fried Fresnos, we got you.
You should try that.
Anytime I see your ticket come to the kitchen just says Fresnos, I'll know you're there.
All right, done. They're like, chef knows. It's okay. Sorry, we don't serve.
Don't ask any questions.
Chef knows. That's really funny. Well, as we're getting ready to wrap up this episode, I know you two have only been in Oklahoma for a few months. Hasn't been too long, but what is your favorite restaurant that you've gotten to discover in this little time here?
Other than your own.
Right. Can't talk about Fresno's or Chimichurri.
I actually have two. I'm actually going to cheat this. I actually have two restaurants, so I'm going to have to cheat again.
Okay.
I have Szechuan Story, which I probably stole from Chef, but that's where he took me my first day here.
Oh, darn
so
it.
I had really good Asian food from there. And then actually just the other day I went to Goro's Ramen.
Oh,
nice.
I actually had cold ramen for the first time and was actually really impressed. So that's where my two places are.
Chef Jeff does a fantastic job with his ramen. Did you say Szechuan Story?
Szechuan Story.
Where is that?
It's in the Asian district. So
okay.
Close to downtown.
28th and
there you go. He'll know the address.
I remember us talking about this, and I was just like, I haven't explored the Asian district as much as I should have.
We need to go there. Right. Wasn't it that place where you said, Chef, where it was kind of like in that, not Super Khao Nguyen, but the other Asian market, like right off of Classen, right? Where Golden Phoenix is right there, right?
It's like 10 steps from Szechuan Story.
Okay, so we just need to go there. That's where we have to put it on Google Maps and just walk around.
Yeah, what are we all doing Saturday? Let's go. Let's do a tour of the Asian district.
Story.
So we got a banquet, a wedding at $375, but I'd much rather skip that and go hunting.
We'll bring you some Szechuan Story food.
Bread the chicken, put it in the fridge, and let's go.
Let's go.
What's the chicken dish that we get when we go there?
The salt and pepper chicken.
Yeah.
Salt and pepper.
Simple.
Yeah.
Salt and pepper.
So Szechuan Story. And we were talking about this when you guys came to the hotel, was, I've actually been to Szechuan, I've eaten that food, and I've lived in Shanghai, and there's a lot of Szechuan restaurants there, and I used to go out with a lot of local guys, and that food is phenomenal. I mean, it really, they have absolutely perfected what we try to do every day of bringing somebody back to a place, and they've nailed it there, so definitely go. Don't miss out.
Says a lot.
Grab the cumin beef.
Oh, yeah.
It's great for your vegetarian diet.
When you said that, I was like, ooh, bookmarked.
Bookmarked.
Meant to be bookmarked.
And they do make their own xiaolongbao, the Chinese soup dumplings.
Oh.
So
all right.
those take about 20 minutes to come out, but so as soon as you sit down, make sure you order 3 orders, because one will never be enough.
Because then you have to wait again.
Yeah, then you have to wait again.
Another 20 minutes.
Any other place that has impressed you in Oklahoma?
So I'll let Ashby take Szechuan Story. I love Asian food, near and dear to my heart from living over there multiple times and traveling over there so much. I have yet to really explore any Thai food here. So still kind of hold on there, and that's my real true heart to heart go to. If you guys ever come to my house, you will definitely have have real Thai food.
Nice.
But so to kind of go back and answer the question, and I'll pull an Ashby and I'll say there's two.
Oh, okay.
So a place I went to that I always have a knack for stumbling across a random place when I'm somewhere. When I came up to look at Oklahoma City before I agreed to come up here permanently, I went and had I went to Super Cow Win because I needed to check out the Asian market before I made any commitments.
You're like, is this going to sustain my life?
Right. Because I will be in here 3 days a week. And they had fresh banh mi bread, and they had other things, and I was like, oh, this is good. Okay, so we've got that checked off.
Pass.
Pass it. And then on the back end of the strip center where Lido is, right there by Super Cow Inn, was a little tiny place that I was like, oh my gosh, what a horrible location for a restaurant. Must eat here. And anyway, it's called Northern Noodle. And their dumplings are first class, and so is their beef and noodle soup. So highly recommend. It's definitely a mom and pop shop, and they definitely do it right over there. And then my other little niche place that just recently discovered is inside the Asian market behind Golden Phoenix, and in the interior of that building there's like a little walk-up stand just past the produce area, and you can get all kinds of little goodies to go.
Nice.
And then
That's
if you
awesome.
want, get you a live catfish or something on the way out the door.
There you go. That's awesome.
Yeah.
There are a lot of hidden gems that I try to, and I'm sure everyone here tries to go out of their way to find different food, maybe try something new. But there's still so many places that, like, both the places you mentioned I haven't been to, but they're like on top of my list now. Like, there's tons of food.
Y'all want to go for dinner?
Yeah, let's do it.
Do it.
So my question is for you all: where do you all recommend for us to eat from being new to Oklahoma City?
Ho ho.
Man.
The tables have turned.
I know. Wasn't that's all the time we have for today. All right, who wants to go first? I'm sure we can all think of like 100 places.
Dang. Okay, I'm gonna be. So I love authentic, like those, taco places on the south side of Oklahoma City. But I'm just gonna really shout out Big Truck Tacos. I don't know if you guys have been there yet. They were a food truck before. But again, I think that they're very creative with their tacos. There's this one particular taco called the Flaming Lips, which I think is an homage to the Flaming Lips band here, and it's made with cow tongue, and it is exquisite. So if you want to try, there's another really amazing taqueria on the south side called Los Desvelados too, which is open till like 5 o'clock in the morning. I mean, this is a place you go like after.
What was it called again?
Los Desvelados, like the Desvelados.
I get out of work late, so that'll be my new.
And if a taqueria is open till 5.
Yeah, and you'll go there, and then it's like the mariachis from after some sort of quinceañera or wedding will be there, like after working. Yeah. But if you wanted something more closer, Big Truck. I like Big Truck so much.
Also like Taqueria Sanchez
Yes.
That's a good place too, yeah.
on 10th and Meridian, right? Close to Meridian.
Yeah.
It's a little food truck.
Nice.
It's really good.
Yeah, Josh.
Do you want me to
You
go?
go. I'm still thinking.
Okay. I thought of too many places, so I will try to not say too many places. For barbecue, if you are fans of barbecue, I like Clark Crew Barbecue, if you haven't tried that yet. And I haven't tried Butcher Stand, but that is near and dear to, like, it's always like a toss-up. Someone will say Clark Crew, someone will say Butcher Stand. I'm not trying to start a war or anything. It's just those are some incredible barbecue places that we have here. And the other place I was thinking about was Hall's wood-fired pizza. So good. So good. Although my favorite style of pizza is Detroit. And we're getting more and more places that are doing Detroit-style pizza. So I am going to go do a little pizza tour and figure out which one's my favorite.
Oklahoma City has great pizza places.
Yes.
Another one of my favorite pizza places is Pizzeria Gusto. And I mean, just from people that have come here that are from like the East Coast that have come to visit, that place is really like, I don't know. It just reminds them of their pizza from like New York City or like Boston, or like really good Italian pizza. And it's also wood fire. They have this beautiful, huge oven that apparently was imported from Italy. And it's just a really beautiful thing to see too when you see the chefs back there making their pizza.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
If you do go to Hall's, I don't know if you've had the opportunity to try it yet, but definitely get their Quinn's burrata.
Yes.
It is, they give you a little wood-fired bread. It's burrata, prosciutto, a chili honey.
Sriracha honey.
Chili oil and a honey. And it's just really good.
Yeah.
Just really good.
Doesn't need candy Fresnos?
No candy Fresnos, unfortunately. Although that would be fantastic on the pizza.
Yeah, we know where to get those. Stop real quick at the tap house on the way too.
I'm walking in with some candy Fresnos. They'll serve everything and be like, put some Fresnos on here.
That's a normal thing in San Antonio. People bring their own chilies into restaurants. That's a normal thing.
That's cool. Can't mess with people's chilies.
I will. Nabil kind of stole one of mine with Hall's.
I figured Hall's would be one.
Yeah, it's just an old staple for me. If you're going for a truly unique, or not necessarily unique, but true Oklahoman restaurant, it's Cattleman's. Cattleman's Steakhouse. Good steak, good calf fries. If you like calf fries, Nabil and I were talking about that today. But just kind of an old school steakhouse, real classic. I'm trying to think. One that has some really unique flavor profiles would be Black Walnut. Chef Andrew Black. The concept behind his restaurant is very unique in that it's not by course, it's by flavor profile. And so it's kind of weird walking in for the first time and trying to figure out the menu, but the flavor is absolutely spot on, bringing all kinds of just a total fusion of a lot of different flavors. So those would be mine too.
It makes it fun to go to Black Walnut because of that.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It's like different. We can take it, chefs. We can take a little, a little change, a little different. You just
Throw us a curveball.
Yeah.
We kind of like it.
Awesome. Well, I mean, I just want to rattle off so many more places.
I need places to eat.
All right. Well, we'll text you. We'll keep texting you places to go to. Well, thank you for joining us here in our studio and taking time out of that's been a very long day already. And if you haven't done so yet, hit that subscribe button so you know when the next episode is out. And follow us on our social media.
Yeah, follow us on Instagram at OKC Foodcast and
Also on Facebook, OKC Foodcast. You can also check out a brand new website that we just launched.
That's right.
We've got a couple different features on there, including featured places. So if you want just a quick browse of all the places that we've been able to feature on OKC Foodcast, you'll find their information on the website. Quick click can take you to their social media as well as their website, find out more information about them. That's a good place to also reach out and connect with us as well on okcfoodcast.com.
That's right. And chefs, if people want to stalk your food adventures or what you're up to in life, can they follow you somewhere?
I'm on Instagram. It's just literally my first and last name, so Ashby Cowart is on Instagram.
All right.
My Instagram is Beyond the Kitchen. It's David Gilbert, so not too hard to find.
All right.
Awesome.
I'm following the two of you right now. So. Awesome. And if you have any thoughts, comments, curiosities, concerns, some places that we haven't mentioned that we definitely should, or places that you want featured on the podcast, reach out to us, okcfoodcast@gmail.com. or message us on one of our many platforms at OKC Foodcast. And until next time, eat well and be happy.